rolling. Here we go. UFC 319 to make sure I'm in frame. UFC 319 press conference is actually in the midst right now. It's going on right now. Yes, I will admit the context of this video is I thought, like every other UFC event that I've ever been to, the press conference, the weigh-ins was going to be at the beautiful, coveted, legendary United Center here in Chicago, Illinois. So I came here and I realized that they decided to have the press conference at some random performing arts center on the other side of town. So I missed it, but I figured while I'm here, might as well go ahead and record my predictions with this scenic background. So here we are, UFC 319, Dricus Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. I'm seeing clips, I'm seeing video, I'm seeing reactions to the press conference, and everybody seems to be very pro Khamzat, which I am happy, but also a little bit surprised. I know a little bit of the fan base had kind of turned on him with the Diaz weight miss and saying that he gets sick all the time and trolling him. Like, it seems like he kind of lost some of that fanfare that he had at the very beginning of his run, but it seemed these wins at 185 have stoked that confidence back in the fan base. And what I've always thought is that this dude was bound to be a champion one day. Kind of prolonged a little bit. This is the way that we look at guys like Ilia Topuria, the way that we look at guys like Tom Aspinall, like the guys that are going to build the UFC in the future. We were looking at Khamzat like that years ago. Khamzat fought Gilbert Burns, the number two guy at 170, 3-4 years ago. He fought him years back and was already in position to be next for a title shot years and years ago. He was already in position to be getting millions and millions of views on his post-fight press conferences because everybody cares so much about that. The perks of an outdoor reaction video, let's see. It's Chicago. Hopefully, I don't know what's going on, but essentially, here's my prediction for the fights. Dricus Plessis, I look at his run, it's very impressive, it's very good. It has some very notable names, but there was never any rising contender that met him as he was a rising contender, and he was the first to knock them off. You could say the same about Khamzat's run, but people that look at DDP's run as more impressive than Khamzat, I would just tell you to take a look at that run again and just tell me the guy that was an up-and-coming rising guy, undefeated, or has looked unstoppable. Nobody has been able to stop him, and then Dricus is the one that finally solves that puzzle. That's never been the case in his career. All the guys he beat had already been beat before, and they were on their second climb back to the title. Brunson, Darren Till, Whitaker, Izzy had already lost them. All of them had already lost and were trying to build back up when DDP got to them. He didn't beat any fresh, young, hungry lion. Yes, Darren Till is young on paper, but Darren Till was one of these guys that was thrown so quickly in the title picture that he was almost looked at as washed by his mid-20s, honestly, and he hasn't fought in the UFC since. So when I look at this fight, I think it's a very even 50-50 fight as far as predictions. I think that the odds are correct, favoring Khamzat just because of the dominance, the way that we've seen him wrestle people, and the way that we've seen DDP be able to be wrestled against certain matchups. We know that was years ago, but Brunson was able to take him down. He did, fall into some, compromising positions against Darren Till, against Robert Whitaker. He's been on his back, and I think Khamzat will definitely be able to do that early. I think in the first round, Khamzat, that initial rush, he will be able to take DDP down, but I think DDP is tough enough. He will survive that first wave. He will make it through the first wave. He will fight back. He will have moments. Khamzat will have to calm himself down and get that second wind, and I think actually the finish comes in the second round. After that first wave, the initial wrestling, DDP gets back up, DDP goes back and forth in the striking for the second half of the first round. It closes out as a great back and forth round. The second round they come out, people are thinking DDP is starting to take over, and DDP, as he said, he's not afraid of the wrestling. He's not afraid of Khamzat striking. I think he starts actually getting hit on the feet, because I think actually technically, fundamentally, Khamzat striking is just as good, if not better. And I think on the feet, he's not as dominant as he thought he would be. He likes to try his hand at wrestling. He tries a grappling exchange, He maybe gets a takedown. He maybe gets Khamzat in a compromised position, but Khamzat catches him in a submission. I'm going second round submission for Khamzat. I think DDP survives the initial wave, then gets caught on submission when he gets too comfortable and thinks he's taking over the fight. Submission, Khamzat Chimaev, second round. Moving down the card, Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Very excited about the debut of Pico. I've watched him in Bellator for many years. A guy that I thought was going to be a champion very early. Never became champion in Bellator. Had some, unexpected losses. But I'm going to go Pico here. This is almost a hopeful pick. Lerone Murphy is a promising guy that, is impressive but never really blows you off blows your mind with his performances or blows off the screen as this guy needs to be champ now. This guy needs a title shot now. He's built his way up there slowly but surely, but I don't think anybody's, truly pressing for a Lerone Murphy title run or a title shot. So I'm going Aaron Pico here. I think this fight could honestly go either way, but I'm just going to go Pico. This is more of a, hopeful prediction because we haven't really seen Pico go up against UFC competition. And I actually hope to see some Bellator guys finally get some wins because it's been rough for them lately. Give me Aaron Pico by decision. Actually, no, by TKO. Aaron Pico by TKO. Keep moving down the card. We got Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Southpaw striker versus Southpaw striker. I think this is going to be a banger. This is potential fire of the night. This is going to be back and forth, nothing but pretty much striking. I'm going to go, I know I've been a Fighting Nerds hater in the past. Everybody loves Fighting Nerds so much, and I've been the one hater. But Prates is probably my favorite of the crew, so I'm not going to hate on Prates. Give me Prates by TKO. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go decision. Everybody thinks it's going to be a banger. I think it will be, but I think they both survive. I think it's going to be a 3-round war, back and forth. Everybody has moments. Both guys get dropped, but Prates takes a decision. Keep moving down the card. We got MVP versus Jared Cannonier. This is one that almost looks weird on paper. It's hard for me to imagine MVP and Cannonier are even the same weight class, but then you see them face to face and MVP is actually bigger somehow. It's kind of odd because MVP is just so thin framed, and then Cannonier is so, stocky, big, muscular guy, came all the way down from heavyweight. I think this is going to be a case of the brute versus the matador, no pun intended. Yeah, I think Cannonier's going to be walking him down. Cannonier's going to be trying to come forward. Cannonier's going to be missing a lot. Cannonier's going to be reaching a lot. Cannonier's going to be chasing a lot. MVP's going to be styling on him. MVP's going to be landing a lot more significant strikes and controlling where the fight takes place. And I think all it's going to take is Cannonier to try to land one big shot, one big takedown that changes the fight, but I don't think he's able to. I think maybe a younger Cannonier will be able to, but this guy's over 40. He's very promising for 40, but Father Time's undefeated. I think MVP kind of styles on him from the outside. Possibly even a kind of a boring fight, some people may say. MVP styles on him, and I got MVP by decision. And then a flyer I'm throwing out there, give me Tim Elliott over Kaya Sakura. That's my predictions for the card. UFC 319 is the crowning moment of Khamzat Chimaev, the uncrowned king for all these years, the superstar of this generation that when everyone's been looking for and other guys, but he was the initial superstar of this division. Remember, he was pulling the views, he was getting the hype, he was getting all the press years and years before Ilya, before Aspinall. And I think order is restored, Khamzat becomes champion, and Khamzat title run begins here. Believe it, bet it, put your money down. Let's go, let me know your predictions, drop a comment, like, subscribe. Thank you guys, I'll be streaming the fights on Saturday, so make sure you come through for that. Oh my God, that's a sign. That's a sign it's time to end. All right, peace. I can't even take it.